Well, I must say that this video is coming from a place of love. It's not to ridicule people back home for any reason or in any way. No. It's just to talk about some of these misconceptions people back home have about those living in the Western world, not only the UK. You know, people have a lot of expectations from us, and they are just misconceptions that should be corrected. Yes, because yesterday something came up in our family chat. I decided to do some screenshots of the request or the demands people kept sending to me. I screenshotted about 4 or 5 of them, sent to my family chat. They were like, who are these people asking you for all this? I said, anyway, friends from social media, and it's usually common. Do you know, when you give somebody for the first time, honestly, the person would come back again. Just give the person 1, 2, 3 months, the person would come back again to ask. One was even asking me for a laptop or a phone, and this was the same person when I was in Saudi Arabia. The person was asking for financial help and blah blah blah. I told this man that I wasn't working in Saudi Arabia because in my passport it was written that I do not have recourse to work. Officially a housewife, yes. If you check Diana's video, Diana also showed where it was written on her passport. So I was not working. When I told this guy that I was not working, all he could say to me was this: how you go enter plane from Nigeria, you fly, go Saudi Arabia, go sit down for house, they answer housewife, they work. That was what this man told me. He didn't even know the situation in Saudi Arabia, or did I travel as a dependent or on a job visa, and he kept coming back to ask. Last time it was for me to send him phone for his wife. Yes, he's a married man with 2 children. Anyway, let me not start about people asking. Yes, it is good for people to ask. And when you have, please do not hesitate to give if you want to give. Yes, because there is blessings in giving than in receiving. Yes, it pays a lot to give. So do not hesitate to give. Anyway, so this brings me back to the topic of this very video. Yes. Certain misconceptions a lot of people back home, or a couple of people back home in Nigeria, have about people living outside of Nigeria. One, that people who have traveled abroad or who currently are living abroad, that they are so rich, extremely rich. Well, when you look at it from their own point of view, it could be true. Because waka come abroad, even if it is to pay for local flights within Nigeria from Lagos to Asaba, it's quite expensive, 200 and something thousand per person. Somebody traveling by road could pay 10,000 or 15,000 and save a lot of money from that amount of money. But you, flying all the way, to fly to abroad now, the flight fare runs in millions of naira. You don't blame them. Suddenly, a lot of us that traveled abroad, the money for their flight or whatever were raised by their family members or their loved ones, not just from their pocket. And a lot of people in abroad, they sold their properties, a whole lot. Some borrowed money to come down to Obodo Ibo, to abroad, not from their pocket. Some gathered their life savings, sold their land in order to raise money to come down to Obodo Ibo. And some people who are living abroad are suffering. Some are even begging. In my group, the Igbo community, somebody had begged for 20 pounds, though a student, he wasn't working as at that time because he was owing school and the school locked him off. Yes, he was restricted from working as at that time, so it became really difficult. But not everybody in abroad are rich. Secondly, they think that abroad is heaven for those of us living abroad. That once we come, though everything is mostly beautiful in abroad, but not in the context of believing that when we are in abroad, we do no longer have any problems at all. All our problems are not gone. Depression is something that does not exist in my country, Nigeria. But depression is in existence in the Western country. Why? Because it is quite challenging down here. In Nigeria, you could have people to crack jokes over your problems, over your situations, about the government and all them stuff. You have people to talk to. A lot of people live aloof or in isolation in this very country, not having anybody to gist with, not having anybody to chat with, not having anybody to share their problems with. You know, stress. They go to work, they live a kind of triangular life. Some go to work, they come back, they go to school, they come back, go to church for some of them who go to church. And some do not even go to church on Sundays. But this is something that is an abomination in a way to most Christians in Nigeria. It's just like a Muslim not going to a mosque, not going to prayer for 6 times or 5 times in a day they do. It is an abomination in my country. But suddenly, when you come to abroad, a lot of us who are Christians have chosen to work on Sundays. Even those who are not doctors and nurses, that their jobs could be mandatory, especially some of us, when people are dropping shift on Sundays, Oyibos, they want to go on weekend vibes, we are collecting those shifts because on Sundays and Saturdays, a little bit, the pay goes a little bit higher, you know. So this is why a lot of us kept working weekends. No social life, no social life, no fun. We have problems in abroad. People are going through a lot in abroad. Don't think that abroad is heaven. Now, I will tell you a shocking thing that happened last month. A Nigerian family that just arrived here from Nigeria. You know, the person just arrived in September. I've forgotten the dates. Then they said the woman died in October. They came in with her family. When she has just landed, sorry to say this, supposedly in the eyes of those in Nigeria, she has just landed to heaven on earth. So why the sudden death? Even people at home, some of them might think that people who live abroad, they don't die. Yes, because we are in heaven. I say, no be heaven. How about the racism we faced here? Though back home, tribalism exists, but let's not dwell on that. The next point is that people who live abroad, they are having free money from the government. I think this should be my point number 3 or 4. That we all enjoy what they call benefits. Free money. Government gives us money all the time. You know, we blab a lot about the free education here in the UK. Not every part of the UK that NHS is even free. Sadly, the so-called NHS that is free, it is not entirely free. Because if you come here on a work visa, study visa, you will pay what is called head surcharge. Yes. On a work visa, depending your kind of work, you are exempted if you are a health worker for NHS. If you are working outside of NHS, you are not entitled to this. And the government, I've lived here for 3 years, going to my 4th year. Government never give me 1 naira. Instead, na me they pay government. Once I finish working, because I get paid every week. When I work, the week I do not work, nothing. Like this next week we are entering. When I wake up tomorrow's morning, being Monday, I will switch off my phone because I personally do not want to go to work. I want to heal from stress. Stress kills abroad. We talk about it, but we don't keep to that. So I will switch off my phone for 1 week. As in the morning. Because, you know, as an agency staff, they would ring you up from 8 o'clock or 7 something. So I will keep my phone off until it is 10 a.m. or 9:30. That's when I'll switch it on. Do I have the right to say no, even when I leave my phone on? But I don't want that to happen. I don't want to receive that. I don't want to be tempted to say yes, because I plan to work 2 times this new week. Unfortunately, I've changed my mind. My head is still banging a bit, so I want to stay off, you know. So stress is something that is in existence in abroad. Yes, people living abroad are constantly fighting this stress. Some don't even notice it until you will hear that somebody has dropped dead. And then those of you at home will be like, oh, so people in abroad, they die. People, they die everywhere. They rain for Sokoto. They rain for Sokoto as well. Most people in Nigeria presume that those of us who have traveled abroad, we lose our Nigerian accent. Yes, Nigerian dialect. We can no longer speak our local dialect. We can no longer, the Nigerian vibe. Waiting the shelle, kilo shelle, have fun. Oh boy, what would make somebody you just traveled to, but you were not even born in abroad? So why would you lose your accent? I don't know. Though I don't blame them, because some, Yopi guys, Yopi guys and Yopi ladies, when they are returning to Nigeria, they will not talk. Those ones that will buy oversized baggies for the men, a baggie that would fit in two persons. Two persons say bum bum. One person would wear it and wear fake rollers, wristwatch. When you see them, once they land, they begin to say, yeah man, nigga. They will see their brother and begin to speak English, speak Fune that they don't even know. By the time they see you, they will start speaking Nigerian English. I don't blame people in Nigeria when they think that those of us in abroad, that we've lost our accent or something like that. Because I remember one certain time, I was speaking Igbo to some people. They were like, so after all these years, I still know how to speak Igbo language. I say, hey, nakwano trouble. Somebody that read in the church. I was a member of the lay readers in my church, nature those years. Yes, where I grew up as a young adult. Yes. So I was reading in the church in Igbo. I attended catechism and all that. Why would I even forget? Why would I forget Igbo language? Talk more of the special Nigerian English yearnings. I bet forget that thing. Now Hey God, do you know that Nigeria, they have the best English language slangs? Our pidgin English is fantastic. It's romantic and special. So how would anybody forget? And another misconception they have about people who travel abroad, especially those who are single, yes, they believe that all the white men in abroad, that they are so rich. That's not true. You never meet those ones where they smoke that forget their brains. My friend was so interested in a white man, but when she finally got one, what happened? In fact, now they've gone their separate ways, because that one was a drunk. Yes, because you see most of our women, they will rush and carry one Oyibo. Best way if you burn their mama. Best way if you burn their papa, they marry because of money. Not knowing that the man must have written his will, how he wants to share his will to his family members. So not all the white men here are rich. And you don't also assume that most single ladies here who left Nigeria to the Western country are looking at to marry Oyibo. I don't know. Our culture is more beautiful. Our way of life. Everybody has their way of life, and I respect that. But African way of upbringing, Nigeria way of upbringing, when it comes to child rearing, I think I really love that, to be honest. And I am thankful that I am a Nigerian, that I was born and bred in Nigeria. Yes. In fact, I've been singing that since this 1 month. I resumed my work at school. Thank God I am a Nigerian. So all these are entirely the misconceptions some people, not all of them back home, they have about people who are in abroad. There's been video clips of where people made a video where people in abroad were plucking money. Maybe they wake up in the morning, they see money, they started picking it. That's what people back home think about people in abroad, that they wake up in the morning, they see dollars, they plug it from trees and blah, blah, blah. But that's true. Because when you check the way people send you requests, I want this, I want that, you will give somebody money this month, the person will just wait until after 1 month or 2 months. The next hello will be problem, money, as if you don't have any problems, as if you're not planning to do anything with your money. It's hard, to be honest. It's really hard here. You see me running away from work that I was supposed to go to work. It's not as if I'm even a full-time worker. It's quite difficult. It's very challenging making this money here. But generally, if you have and you really want to give, please give. But in giving, remember to be prudent. Yes. Don't be stingy, but do not forget yourself. Because if anything should happen to you abroad and you happen to find yourself back home, it is those people whom you have been giving every month or every once in 2 months. They are the people who would laugh at you, who are going to castigate you, say, you've wasted all your life in abroad. You couldn't even invest. You couldn't even build nothing. You couldn't even set up any business, and now you return home empty-handed. They are the set of people that are going to mock you. Yes. So when you give wisely, to be honest. I give, but I am learning as well to be prudent. Yes. Let's just invest and have a plan B to avoid had I know. This place, we are all strangers in this land. You never can tell. No matter the status you take coming here, you know, recently, anyway, let me not go into that. People have been deported back home. Yes, somebody was crying that he's going to kill himself. He doesn't want to go back to Nigeria. The UK, they deported a lot of people recently. It's on the news. Yes, somebody was crying that he's going to kill himself. Have a plan B. Have a plan B. Yes, they will mock you back home, to be honest. And it's not their fault. It is your fault because you refuse to plan. Yes, once you are leaving the shores of Nigeria, bye-bye. Some will even be telling Oyibos, white people, that they don't want to go back home. That is crazy. Anyway, guys, I think this is it for this very content. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this video is not meant to ridicule people back home or to bring down people back home, but to clarify some of these misconceptions that some people, not all of them, do have about those living abroad. Thank you very much once again for your time. See you again in my next video. Bye for now.